Hi, good morning, and thank you to Carrie and the Barnsley and Rotherham Chamber of Commerce for asking me to prepare a short presentation on the currency markets and managing risk. My name is Andy Dobson, and I'm head of sales for MoneyCorp, based in Leeds. Presentation will last about 10 or 15 minutes, and we're going to cover the FX market, some recent volatility, ways of managing risk, some bank forecasts, and a little bit about who MoneyCorp are at the end. As we can see, 2020 was certainly a notable year. We went into the year expecting Brexit and a deal or no deal to be the main focus, but this was quickly overtaken by COVID and lockdowns 1 and 2, with Brexit coming back onto the agenda later on in the year, and a deal finally being cobbled together by Christmas Eve. I think it's important to highlight currency volatility through the course of last year, and as we can see, this is sterling dollar. The major drop for the pound was due to COVID lockdown at the end of March, and then we saw a gathering of strength for sterling as lockdown started to ease and we started to open up the economy through the summer again, with things like help out to eat out, etc. And later in the year, as the UK economy was picking up a little bit, investors were happier to take a little bit more of an appetite to risk, and sterling started to pick up to the detriment of the US dollar. Start of 2020, we've seen a further lockdown in the UK, and we've also seen protests unbelievably in the US, and all these have impacts on the currency market and sterling in particular. I think the question that we need to ask ourselves is, can you afford to wait and hope, for those of you that are importing and exporting, and hoping that the exchange rate is where you need it to be when you need to buy or sell currency? Just for those of you that don't remember, back in 2016, when we had the Brexit vote, sterling actually dropped from 150 down to 119.50, which is over 30 cents against the US dollar. We can see here sterling against the euro. It's a similar story this year. Again, the pound fell sharply as we entered lockdown. Didn't gain the momentum it did against the US dollar. That's primarily because the UK and the EU were at loggerheads over a deal or a no deal, and the markets were undecided who was going to come out on top, really. But what we have seen at the start of 2021 is a bounce back in sterling, moving around 2% against the euro since the start of the year. I think it's important to highlight that the next real unknown, if you like, is the Scottish election. I think it's in May, with growing support for Nicola Sturgeon and her party. And if there's a win for Nicola, then the expectations are for a further vote for Scottish independence, which will throw more uncertainty onto the UK as a whole, and is likely to see sterling vulnerable at that point. And again, the moves that you can see through 2020 were kind of dwarfed again by Brexit in 2016, when the pound fell from round about 132.50 to 107.50 in 2016. I think these moves are not few and far between. They happen on a regular basis, and if we can see here, we looked at Q2 2020, and a high low for the pound against the dollar of 137 to 126.50, which is actually a 9% difference in the swing of the exchange rate. And just to put that into perspective, a business that needs to buy or sell, let's say $500,000 US, that's a sterling difference of over £30,000, profit or loss, depending on how you've managed that risk, whether you have or whether you haven't. And the similar thing for sterling against the euro in Q4 last year, a move of over 4.5%, 107.50, down to 112.75. When I send these slides out, I will actually correct the market high and low and put them in the correct way round. But that results in a difference on €500,000 of over £21,000. Again, can your business stand these swings in the currency exchange rate market? The good news is there are ways to manage risk. Spot deals, forward contracts, market orders, and currency options. Spot deal is simply taking the exchange rate on the day that you need to transact. Extremely flexible, but no protection. Forward contract gives you some protection of the rate that you're going to achieve for a future date. A market order allows you to target a rate that you're hoping to transact at, and we can monitor that for you 24/7, but there's no guarantee it will get there. And then there's a range of more flexible options that we can talk about individually. There are some considerations that I think you need to take into account when you're buying or selling currency. There's opportunity and there's risk. Opportunity, exchange rates move in your favor, reduce your costs, increase profit margins, and an opportunity by choosing the right foreign exchange provider. We'll touch on that in a little later. The risks, exchange rates go against you, costs increase, profit margins reduced, potential to reduce revenue, or even choosing the wrong foreign exchange provider. Choosing the right provider will give you support, proactive help, access to strategic currency risk management, not a one-size-fits-all. Choosing the wrong provider, a lack of support, lack of credit lines, not transparent with their pricing, margins, and not a strong credit risk. There are many providers out there that don't have client funds in secured segregated accounts, so things to take into consideration there. A little bit about MoneyCorp. We are proud to be partnered with the Barnsley and Rotherham Chamber of Commerce, as well as the BCC at national level. We have over 150 different partners that we work with, including the Institute of Chartered Accountants for England and Wales, and some national accountancy firms like Assets, who are highlighted there. We're not a new kid on the block. We've been around for over 40 years in the foreign currency market, started in 1979, but our roots actually go back to 1962. And you can see from the slide here, the thousands of corporate customers that we deal with, the number of transactions, and the volumes of currency that were traded. These are all figures as at 2019. We're not just a UK domestic company, we are a global business with offices around the world, and the chart here just shows where we are located. Incidentally, we actually own a bank in Brazil, and we have a banking license out of Gibraltar as well. So like I say, not just a small UK foreign exchange broker. As I mentioned, we have over 150 partners nationally, and some of the key ones here are the British Chamber of Commerce, obviously CNN, The Guardian, Telegraph, etc. But these are businesses that we work with to support their clients, their members, etc. What are MoneyCorp about? Really, what we're about is providing companies with an alternative choice. We're here to help you save money on the cost of your foreign exchange transactions and payments. We provide our clients with direct access to competitive exchange rates that are provided through our 18 banking providers. We proactively help and support managing currency risk. We'll give you a dedicated account manager and a dedicated voice dealing individual. And we also, for those of you that are selling online using platforms like Amazon and PayPal, we have a bespoke solution that will save you a considerable amount against the Amazon and PayPal charges. A few final thoughts. We're living in uncertain times. The markets are extremely volatile and unpredictable. Even in what we would deem to be a normal time, exchange rates fluctuate. Brexit led to pressure on sterling, as we touched on earlier. The deal led to initial increase in the pound at the end of 2020. However, the latest lockdown has seen the pound fall slightly. However, picking up a little bit over the last couple of days. I think the key thing to be aware of, there are ways to manage risk out there, and we can help you do that. How much are you paying for your foreign exchange? How much are you paying for your international payments? We're happy to give you a free rate comparison and an audit of your FX transactions. By that I mean, if you want to provide me with a timed and date stamped transaction that you've had from your bank, I'll more than happily look back at where the market rate was and tell you what rate we could have provided. Alternatively, if you wish to do a live exchange rate comparison, I'm more than happy to do that at the telephone. And I think importantly, what's your business about? Are you about buying and selling the products and services that are core to your business, or are you speculating on currency? MoneyCorp, we can help you manage the risk to ensure profitability. If any of you have any questions, my details are on the final slide. It's andrewdobson@moneycorp.com. And my mobile number is 07436 538 572. I would more than happily answer any questions, chat through the challenges that you face within your business, and on a no commitment basis, see if there's any way that we can help save money. Thank you very much for your time.